Alright. Well, welcome back. So, now we're going to do some more final work before we get the coloring going. So for this, what we're going to need is your hot glue gun, your cylinder container. I just used the regular can that was from like Peaches, I think it was. Just clean out one end, make sure it's nice and clean. And this will be your canister up here. Make sure your heat gun is heating up. And you want to find a spot in the center for your can, and go ahead and mark this. And what this is going to do, excuse me, we are just going to cut out this area here, just barely in there. That way we can add some glue and this can fit inside and hold in place. So this is part way why we used two different squares on the front, because that way you can cut into this first layer without punching all the way through, and then all of a sudden you have a nice circle hole right in the front of your bow. You want to be kind of careful, go kind of slow when you're making your turns, otherwise you could slip and cut yourself. You could slip and put a nice cut gash across any of your paper that you've just done. So there is quite a few things that could happen. You just want to kind of be careful there. And then what I like to do is either a flat head screwdriver or that. That way you can kind of just push and dig in to your cut marks. That way it gives your can a place to sit. Not quite there yet. So this part will take a little bit of time. The other way that I found that is actually pretty fast is if you have like a chocolate mix, or like an apple cider mix, or something that's in a regular can, like for like Christmas time or that comes with the plastic lids. You can actually glue the plastic lid to this and then glue around this and push it in there, so that way it's double glued. That is what my other one was done, and that one has held up quite well. I don't have any empty cans of that nature anymore, so we're going to improvise with this. Again, this is one of those, if you do it this way, time-consuming pieces. So now that it's got a decent fit in there, what we're going to do is fill this crack with hot glue and then just shove our can in there. And yes, I'm putting a little bit on the inside bit as well. Just push kind of hard on it, make sure it's locked in there, and just work pretty fast so that glue will dry up as soon as it hits the colder can. So now you have that, and while you have your glue gun out, go ahead and check any of your seams all around here, especially like right here. You probably have noticed that it's off and on, and it will do that. But if you have a little of the hot glue there, it'll help hold some of it down. And just go ahead and just check your whole gun. Nothing's worse than a prop that falls apart on you. And again, do be careful you don't get burned, especially if you're not used to using hot glue guns. They can be a little painful. And do make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't mind getting messy or ruined. Alright. So probably the last little bit that we'll use is back here, just where your paper has overlapped itself. You may have not sealed all the way. So when it's to your liking, then everything should be pretty much ready. Excuse me. Okay, so for this next part, what I've used, I'll keep my gun plugged in right this second. So for out here, this is just some foam padding stuff for crafts, foam crafts, and it's just sprayed with a little bit of spray paint, like a little silver, a little black. The ones that say have like the hammered, excuse me, the hammered look on it. That's what I've used for the coloring here. just to kind of give it a canon sort of look. So what you do is you get your paper, or your foam sheet, probably a dark one would be the best, and actually have them right over in this section. Although none of mine are black. So I have just blue. Not the greatest, but it'll work. So then, of course, this is what I'm talking about. Hammered, first looking look. This is about $3 at your hardware store. And there's different kinds. I think this is the only one I have that is still pretty full. No, it's this one. So I always use this outside. I'm kind of inside, but I have the underprotectant here. So. And then, of course, I have a little bit of silver spray paint as well. And this is just what I've used. You can use your own, experiment a little bit and see what's going to stand out and what would look best of how to do it. If I'm doing any type of overcoatings, I will spray from a great distance and in short bursts. And as you can see, a little too much silver right there. I don't like it. Some might. So that I'm going to enjoy that piece, and I'm just going to leave that as that is. Let that dry for a bit. And over there to dry. Now, as far as the coloring, the other part of the coloring is concerned, what you'd probably want to use, I go to the regular dollar stores, they have them, or if you want to spend a couple more dollars, the packages that have all the brushes. And I use a foam brush, or a foam pad, and then a type of stain. Now you can get this Minwax or any other brand type stain at your hardware store as well. This is about $5-6. But I've used it for other things, not just this, but this is the smallest that they really carry. And you can pick any type of color. Since you're going off of paper, what you can do is you can actually take a strip of paper that you've used to cover this. In this case, it's poster board. Just take a strip of it down to your hardware store and ask them to do a couple sample pieces on it. And they will actually, for free, brush a little bit of sample on there. And that way you can look at what color would look good and go with that one. Mine, I picked red mahogany. I love the color. I love the color red. So you want to make sure it's well shaken, well stirred up. And this is all based on what you're going to do, what you want. So you want to have a rag with you, or like a spare paper towels, something that you can wipe off a little bit. My rags are out, so I have some paper towels here. And all you're doing is just adding this. And the rag really, the paper is going to absorb a lot of it, but the rag is just kind of help blend it just a little bit. If you get too much stain on it, you will start to see the underneath because it'll bleed through the paper. And you'll get these little spots here where the glue's at. So you just kind of want to watch those. And of course, if nothing is what you're looking for, just kind of experiment with it a little bit. The thicker you have the stain, the darker it's going to be. If it's light, well then it's lighter. So experiment on your other piece before you just go to town here, because if you go to town on this and it's not what you're looking for, it's very hard to start over, both mentally and physically. See how I went over that a second time and it's gone darker? So that's what you're looking for. Whatever's gonna make it look the way it's gonna look. And it's the same thing as if you're gonna do these as well. Because they have been hit with water, they will darken up really fast. The water opens up the grains in the wood, making the wood more porous and absorbing the stain color a lot easier. So just kind of go with this. Let it will take a, I mean, it's dry to the touch for the most part. There's no stain that can transfer on your hands after so long. But this is what you're gonna kind of do. And as far as this piece is concerned, see, this is pretty much dry already. And all this is, once the stain's all done, is you're gonna put hot glue all around the can and form fit this all the way around. If you're using these regular sheets, it's going to be off barely on the bottom, as you can see there. Just a little bit of can, and just cut a little strip and fill that in. But do it on the bottom where no one's going to see it and shouldn't have any type of problem. But that part will come after this. So I will let you continue on doing this. I will continue on doing this, and when come back, then this part will already be done, already wrapped. We'll work on the other pieces here and some type of siding, and then for the most part yours is done, with the exception of how to carry it. So thanks for watching.